FaZe are playing some pretty darn good Valorant, and here is how they took down Sentinels to eliminate them from the VCT. So we're on Haven right now, and as you can see, FaZe is down by 2 and trying to force overtime. Meanwhile, Sentinels, they have bought an operator for 10s, and you can see that he's posted over here on A long, which is generally where he likes to play. You know, on Haven, a lot of teams will try and take some early A control, whether it's short or long or both. The Neon and the Breach are going to combine here, and they're going to put a ton of pressure. The Omen puts a flash over here, which kind of forces the Opper to choose between either getting stunned or having to deal with a one-way. And so Tens ends up forcing a shot. He misses Baby Bay. Baby Bay throws a stun in there and chases him out. So that means that Dash is now down. They also have found out that the Opper is indeed A long, and that gives FaZe the opportunity to either play away from that or to maybe come back and hit a Jet who does not have an escape mechanism. So what's going to end up happening here is FaZe is going to go ahead and dog through short just to kind of create a little bit of extra pressure. They can also detect that Shazam is there, and that gives them the idea, okay, now we should probably start exploring the other side of the map, because at least 2 of Sentinels members are A, and potentially they have already rotated another one over there. So they're walking their way into the middle of the map and setting up for a hit onto the C site. So this is a little bit catching Sentinels off guard. You can see that they go ahead and smoke the garage window, and then it's pretty much just a straightforward break the trap in garage and execute onto the site. So you can see that Sentinels is going to counter with this KO knife that is going to potentially detect anybody who might be trying to sneak up through the garage window. And meanwhile, FaZe is trying to clear out some of the angles on site, and they're going to do that with, you can see the Omen flash comes through here to clear this angle, and then the Breach Aftershock is going to clear this angle. So they get onto the site without a whole lot of contest from Sentinels, and then this is where things get pretty cool, because normally you would expect a player like Baby Bay, who is very aggressive and likes to be the first one in a lot of cases, especially on a character like Neon, to be on site fighting with his teammates. However, because of how things worked out and where he was positioned when they went onto the site, he's actually set up for a pretty good lurk. And so he's going to find a perfect timing here to take out Dapper and falls back immediately. Again, this is sort of like a non-Baby Bay style play. Normally he's the guy who's over peaking and pushing way too far, but he finds the pick and then falls back. He's going to go ahead and stun the garage door just to fall back safely. And then he also realizes that there's potentially a flanking Jet, because we know that the Jet was on A and hasn't appeared yet on C site. So he's just going to go ahead and hold this flank just to make sure. Meanwhile, the rest of his teammates are playing on C in their post plant setup. There you go. Baby Bay gets rewarded with the kill, and then things get a little bit wacky here. There was a couple of rounds where FaZe were able to stick through smokes to get the defuse, and Sentinels trying desperately here. Lots of players spamming, a lot of players spamming in the wrong direction, but ultimately FaZe is able to clean up that round as the smoke fades. Now things get even crazier, because we're going into round number 24. This is for overtime, or potentially Sentinels able to force map number 3. And this is pretty much the first time that FaZe has decided to 5 stack and hit C site. So you can see there's all 5 players there, just a trip holding their flank over here. And Sentinels is doing their default setup. You know, they have the 2 players kind of B in garage, and then they have the 2 players over on A, and there's only 1 player holding C. So this is just a great read by FaZe that, you know, there hasn't been a whole lot of contesting of the C site, and so we might as well, you know, dial up a play. You can see that there is a one-way smoke placed by the Omen, which is meant to deter some early aggression, but FaZe, they're committed to this play, and so they just completely disrespect it. They just walk through as a team, and some nice utility again. You can see that the Aftershock is going to clear this upper box position, and then the Neon stun is going to go ahead and clear this corner as well. You know, they had to bounce it off of somewhere, so technically it also clears anybody who's sitting behind default as well. So with that being said, the dog goes in, actually gets stunned. They kind of blow a bunch of utility. The Omen smoke comes through there. The Omen paranoia comes through there as well. It's all good because they're able to get onto the site without anybody really contesting them, because as you can see on the minimap, Sentinels had kind of devoted a lot of resources to holding garage and then waiting for their teammates to rotate in. So FaZe is now able to get the spike down. And I was just really impressed with their utility usage throughout this entire match. So we're going to see some really, really excellent utility usage here coming out from FaZe to counter Sentinels on their retake. And one thing that's really important to notice is that we do have the From the Shadows from the Omen, and then we also have the Rolling Thunder, which is the bigger thing from the Breach. So FaZe knows this, that there is a Rolling Thunder and it's going to be used to retake the site. And so watch how they set up. You can see that there's 3 players in long. Here comes the Rolling Thunder. And as soon as that comes out, we can see the Neon stun being thrown directly into the garage. And there's also a Paranoia coming from that direction. So the response from the Neon is to just immediately stun this direction to stop any pressure following up on this Rolling Thunder and on this blind. So that's just really, really good timing there. You know, pretty basic. You want to stop the hit coming in, and so you use utility in response to that. But then this is also layered with a really nice fault line that comes through from the cubby over here on Breach, and this is to cut off the other angle that players might be flooding into the site from. And you can see that it's actually going to go ahead and hit 2 players there, which completely stops their pressure coming in from the Rolling Thunder. But then we're going to see this flash through the back of default, perfectly timed with Baby Bay swinging out. And both players are very, very blind. He's going to find 2. And I just want to quickly go back and look at one other thing that happens here, which is that Baby Bay throws up the wall. And you can see that on the minimap, this wall is going to cut off anybody who is trying to come through here to contest a player that might be in this area or coming in from main. And so this wall is not actually meant to block anybody from the garage. It's meant to block people from the defender's spawn who might be coming to help the player from garage. And what this allows FaZe to do is that they can swing out here and take a good fight against the players coming in from garage without having to worry about anybody coming in from that spawn or logs area. So Baby Bay gets a couple of kills there. You can also see that there is a kill from the players swinging out into the player that was coming from garage. And this really shuts down the retake. Of course, little style points for Baby Bay, sliding into cover, finding another kill, and then Tens is completely alone. And even with some impeccable aim, some really nice shots, just too many players shooting back. So FaZe forces overtime, and they would go on to win this map and completely eliminate Sentinels from the VCT, at least until the last chance qualifier.